Hello, kindergarten. Does anybody know what I'm holding in front of the camera? If you said a square, you would be correct. But this is actually called matzah. It's very much like, I'll put it sideways, it's very much like a giant cracker, I guess, if you will. And this is something that people that celebrate Passover, they eat during Passover. Now, I happen to love matzah. There's lots of different things you can do with matzah. You can put butter on matzah. Miss Lincoln has made matzah pizza. I've made matzah nachos. But anyway, it's very good. And if you like bread and butter, you would love some matzah and butter. And the reason I'm showing you matzah is to say happy Passover, but also because I'm going to be reading The Matzah Man. My class, if you remember, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Beatty's class too, we went back around holiday time, Christmas time. We read The Gingerbread Man and the Gingerbread Girl and the Gingerbread Cowboy and the Gingerbread Ninja, and you name it, we read it. And I was saving this one for this time of year because of Passover. This is called The Matzah Man, a Passover story. And a lot of it might seem familiar to you because it follows the same pattern as the Gingerbread Boy. All right, enjoy. This is called The Matzah Man, a Passover story by Noemi Howland. This is the front cover. Back, everybody say hi to my son Ross. Hi, Ross. And the spine, very good. Like we said, this is the title and the title page. Ba-boom. Inside of Mr. Cohen's bakery, let's see, can you see that? Inside of Mr. Cohen's bakery, the racks were filled with Passover matzah. The baker rolled out his last scraps of dough. He added a bit here and a pinch there and shaped a little man. He pricked the dough all over, popped it in the oven, and closed the door. Mr. Cohen was busy cleaning up when suddenly he smelled the matzah almost burning. He hurried to the oven and opened the door, but the minute he did, the piece of matzah jumped out and said, "Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man." Doesn't that remind you of the gingerbread man? And off that little rascal ran around the sacks of flour between the legs of the baker and right out the door. "Stop, Matzah Man!" cried Mr. Cohen, and he began to chase that little Matzah Man. Through the village they raced. A red hen spied the little Matzah Man crisp and crackly running by. The Matzah Man said, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick I'm the Matzah Man." "Stop, Matzah Man!" clucked the red hen. "You would make a tasty treat for my new chicks." The little Matzah Man looked at Red Hen, stuck his nose in the air, and said, "I've run from the baker whose matzah is best. And canoodle, canoe, I can run away from you too." And he went pell-mell over the fence. Cousin Tilly was sampling her tender Passover brisket when the toasty little Matzah Man rushed past her door. The Matzah Man teased her, saying, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick I'm the Matzah Man." "Stop, Matzah Man!" called Cousin Tilly. "You'd be the perfect mouthful with my delicious brisket." The little Matzah Man waggled his finger at Cousin Tilly and said, "I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and the red hen who left eggs in her nest, and canoodle, I'll run away from you too." And the little scamp raced off down the road. Auntie Bertha was out shopping in her brand new shoes. She saw the crunchy Matzah Man running right toward her. The Matzah Man said, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick I'm the Matzah Man." And if you recognize the pattern now, kindergarten, you can also say it along with me. "Oh, please stop, Matzah Man," cooed Auntie Bertha. You would just look adorable on my Passover table. The little Matzah Man made a rude face at Auntie Bertha and boasted, I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest, and from old cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan and canoodle, canoodle, canoe. I'll run away from you too. And he scooted around the corner. Well, Matzah Man, not very polite, is he? Grandpa Solly was chopping onions for his special Passover gefilte fish. The onions were making him cry, but he could still see the Matzah Man through his tears. The Matzah Man said, hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick. I'm the Matzah Man. Stop, Matzah Man, cried Grandpa Solly. You'd be a delectable nosh with this gefilte fish. The little Matzah Man put his hands on his hips and just bragged. I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest, from old cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan and big Auntie Bertha. In high heels she ran, and canoodle, canoodle, canoe. I'll run away from you too. And he sped across the bridge. Miss Axelrod was dropping the last matzo ball into her chicken soup, and when she browned the little Matzah Man, Miss Axelrod was dropping the last matzo ball into her chicken soup when the browned little Matzah Man ran past, and he shouted, hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man. The little Matzah Man had such chutzpah. He said, I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest, from old cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan, and big Auntie Bertha. In high heels she ran. Then Grandpa Solly from onions, he's crying, and canoodle, canoodle, canoe, I'm going to run away from you too. And zippity-zip, away he went. A gray goat was pulling tender young radishes out of the garden when he noticed the tasty little Matzah Man. The Matzah Man stamped his foot and said very proudly, hot from the oven I jumped and ran. You can't catch me. I'm the Matzah Man. Stop, Matzah Man, bleated the goat. I would like to have a bite of you. The little Matzah Man just laughed and said, I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest, and from old cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan, and Auntie Bertha in high heels she ran. Then Grandpa Solly from onions, he's crying, and then from Miss Axelrod, matzo balls flying, and canoodle, canoodle, canoe, I'll run away from you too. And he hurried on past the goat. Lots of characters happening now, right? Look at them all lined up, chasing after that Matzah Man. Just the moment young Mendel Fox came out the door of his house. What a commotion! Mendel saw the little Matzah Man running down the road, chased by the gray goat. Let's see if you remember all of these. The gray goat, Miss Axelrod, Grandpa Solly, Auntie Bertha, Cousin Tilly, the red hen, and Mr. Cohen, the baker. The Matzah Man looked back over his shoulder and panted, hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick. I'm the Matzah Man. Stop, Matzah Man, Mendel said. I'll help you. Hide behind me. The Matzah Man flattened himself behind Mendel. I wonder if Mendel's going to help him or not. And let's also try to think about how the gingerbread man ended. Was it a good ending? Bad ending? They're getting closer, Mendel shouted. Hurry, get behind the cushion. The Matzah Man covered himself with the pillow. I can still see you, said Mendel. They're coming up the steps. Quick, hide here. The Matzah Man jumped up on the table and slipped beneath the matzah cover. Mr. Cohen looked around. Did you see a little piece of matzah run this way, he asked. Mendel just shrugged. Miss Axelrod peeked under the table. The red hen picked up the cushion on Grandpa Solly's chair, and no one could find the Matzah Man. So one by one, the tired guests just plopped down in their seats. "Let's begin the Seder," said Mendel. He handed his grandfather a plate of matzah. Grandpa Sally reached under the matzah cover and snap! The matzah was broken. Who was under that cover? The plate was passed around the table. Tasty matzah, said the gray goat between bites. Now the horseradish was making Grandpa Sally cry. He nibbled a piece of matzah. So crunchy and delicious, he said through his tears. "The best matzah we ever ate," said Aunt Tilly and Auntie Bertha, said Cousin Tilly and Auntie Bertha, and Miss Axelrod. The red pecked at her matzah. Crispy. Mr. Cohen smiled. Everybody ate a piece of matzah except Mendel Fox. Where is Mendel Fox? There he is. He had 2 pieces. And that was the end of the Matzah Man. The end. So if you remember from the gingerbread man, the fox was the one that kind of outsmarted the gingerbread man. And in this story, it seems like it was Mendel that kind of acted like the fox and outsmarted the Matzah Man. Fun. If you can, try a little matzah. Yummy, yummy. Happy Passover. Happy spring break. I'll talk to you after spring break. Enjoy. Be safe. Be healthy.